Okay, so task two is all about borrowing money, basically. So, student loans is the first thing we're going to look at, which is something that if you go on to do any sort of further education or higher education to college or to uni, you may well be taking out a student loan so you can survive without having to work in a job. Compound interest is kind of something we've sort of looked at that already a wee bit in appreciation and depreciation. We're going to then look at mortgages, and then we're going to look at different ways that you can buy a car, or own a car, or lease a car, rent a car. So some of you may well have that kind of be thinking about that soon as well. So the first thing we're doing, so if you can take the head in task 2, activity 1, it's all about student loans first of all. So don't have to write all this down, just read it with me, this first paragraph. So we've got Tanya, who finished university in 2016. So while she was a student, she took out a student loan of £17,000. Now that's over the course of say 4 years. As far as I'm aware, certainly when I was at uni, the maximum you could take out, or you could borrow in a student loan, was £4,500 a year. And they give you it like in monthly instalments. They don't just hand you £4,500 at the start of the year, because that would be an absolute disaster for students to get. But you can get, so if you imagine getting £4,500 a year over 4 years, that's quite a lot of money. That's £18,000 that you have borrowed that you need to then pay back. So yes, it's great that you can get a student loan, but obviously you need to then pay it back. So how it works is she needs to pay it back once she has a job. Tanya will only start to pay back her student loan if she has a job that pays over a certain amount. Okay, but interest will be added to her loan whether she starts paying it back or not. So in other words, the amount she owes will increase if she does not start paying it back. So that's basically how, you probably are not aware of this, and I certainly wasn't aware of it at your age. Even when I had the student loan, I wasn't aware of how it worked with paying it back. So you borrow the money and you go to uni and you go out 4 times a week and you have a nice time and you hopefully get a degree at the end of it. And then how it works with paying it back is you do not start to pay it back until you are in a job that earns over a certain amount. So say for example you finish uni and then you just don't have a job, you just sit back. They don't start charging you for that money that you've borrowed. Okay, so it's not that you're gonna risk having to pay it back when you don't have any money. You pay it back once you're in a job that earns over a certain amount. Okay, but like it says, interest, which is extra that you have to pay back, is added as soon as she finishes. Okay, so obviously you want to try and get a job as quickly as possible so that you don't have to cost yourself more money. Okay, so what we're going to look at is a couple of actual calculations that's going to kind of calculate this. So we've got 3 scenarios here. So here's some information that you do now need to copy down. So in so she finished uni in 2016, right? In January 2017, she was told that the earnings threshold for paying back her student loan is £17,775 before tax. Now that's really important, and we're going to write that, so I want you to write this with me, that the earnings threshold is £17,775. So that's in 2017. So what that means is that until you are in a job that earns that amount per year, you don't have to pay any of your student loan back. Right? That's what that means. That's the threshold. Okay? But how it works is she would have to pay 9% of anything over £17,775. Okay? So work out how much she would need to pay towards her student loan. Right? Now this is the biggest, the kind of difficult thing with tax that people find difficult to get their head around. Okay? She has to pay 9% of any earnings over 17,705. So the first 17,775 are basically tax free. But anything over that, she has to pay 9% of just a little bit over it. So if we say, for example, that she earned £18,000, right? That would mean she only earns like £225 over the threshold. So she wouldn't be charged 9% of £18,000. She would have to pay back 9% of just the £225 that's over the threshold. So literally it would be 9% of 225, so it'd be like 20 quid a year. Okay, so it's not a percentage of the total amount, it's only a percentage of the amount over the threshold. Right, so you may be thinking that sounds confusing as hell right now, but when we do some examples with calculations, it's maybe going to make more sense. So what you need to do is you need to have a calculator ready, or a calculator on your phone or on your laptop or whatever it is, because we're about to do some calculations. So the first thing you're going to write down is scenario 1, which is job A, and that's a salary of £14,600 per year. Can you copy down that line right now, please? Just trying to get some more folk in. Right, okay, so the salary is £14,600 per year in job A. Now, the threshold is up at £17,775. So if she was to earn more than this, she would have to pay 9% of anything over. But this isn't more than £17,705. It's less. So actually, there's no calculation here. The amount that she would have to pay, is zero in the first one, because the salary is not over the threshold, right? So if you earn anything up to that threshold, you don't have to pay anything, right? But the second one, job B, you can see this is slightly over the threshold, so we are going to have a calculation to do here. So copy down job number B, which is a salary of £18,200 per year. Copy that down now, please. Okay, so what we have to do first is we have to work out how much is this salary over the threshold. So what's the difference between them? So the way we do that is we just subtract it. So first of all, we need to work out the difference. Oh,
Sir,
what's up?
can you invite Jay?
Yeah, just give me a second. Right, can you guys all just work out that difference, please? Take 18,200 and subtract 17,775 and write down what that little difference is. Do that now, please. Right, I've sent Jay an invite now, Lewis, you can tell him. You should see it. So this difference, if I could write, is 18,200 take away 17,775. So what is that? So type that in, 18,200 take away 17,775. So that's going to be just £425. Now, that's not your answer. That's just the amount that we get this 9% taken off. So the amount that I actually have to pay is going to be over here. So the amount that I have to pay back is 9% of the difference. So 9% of 425. So remember, back before we started this, I said the majority of this course, the majority of things with money is to do with percentages. So we really need to make sure that our percentage work is good. We're going to be doing a lot of percentages over the next couple of months. So to find 9% of something, there's a few different ways you can do it. 9 divided by 100 times 425. That's probably the easiest way. 9 divided by 100 times 425. Do that now. 9 divided by 100 times 425. Write in the comment, please. What's your answer? Come on, I'm not doing it all for you. Work it out. Write your comment. Yeah, okay, all of these are correct. Yep, it's 9 divided by 100 times 425, which we seem to be getting that fine. Yeah, it's £38.25. That's it. So that's over the course of a year. So if that's split into 12, that's literally like £3 a month you'd have to pay back. So not very much at all. Okay, so that is for job B. So the salary is just over the threshold. You don't have to pay very much. So put at the end of that, that is per year. Per year. You could have put P.A per year. Sorry, try and make your working a bit neater than mine. Okay, that is for job number B. What we're going to do now is look at what happens when we have a salary, a slightly higher salary. Okay. So write down scenario 3, job C, salary 21,500. So again, we need to work out what the difference is between our salary and the threshold. And then we need to work out then what 9% of that is. Okay, so let's do that now. So the difference is going to be 18,000. Oh no, sorry, that was the last one. So it's going to be 21,500 this time. Subtract that threshold. So subtract 17,775. So put that in your calculator. Write down in the comments what that difference is now. $21,500 subtract 17,775. Let's go. Put it in the comments, please. What's the difference here? Okay, yeah, I'm getting the same answers off you, which is 3,725. Good, thank you. So 3,725, so obviously that's a bit more over the threshold, a bit more that this 9% is going to be. So the actual amount that I will pay back if I earn this salary is now, can't spell. Just leave it. Right, so the amount I have to pay back is 9% of 3,725. So in a similar way to what we just did in part B, can you now tell me what 9% of 3,725 is, please? Go. Write it in the comments when you've got an answer. So 9%, so 9 divided by 100 times by the quantity, 9 divided by 100 times 3,725. What does that work out to be? Okay, good. Yeah, thank you for all these comments. That's good. Yeah, so we have to do 9 divided by 100 times by 3725, and you're telling me that works out to be £335 and 25 pence, and that is per year. So you can see that when you earn a bit more, there's obviously a lot more that you have to pay back within the year. So the more that you earn, the more that you'll have to pay back in your student loan. Okay, so that's what I really want you to take away from this activity, is that number one, a student loan isn't free money. You have to pay it back. Number two, to learn that you don't just start paying it back even though you don't have a job. You only pay it back when you earn over this threshold amount, and then even at that, it's only 9% of how much over that you earn. Okay, so if it's 21,500, which if you're getting, if you're starting a pretty decent job, that's probably a reasonable starting salary. Be pretty pleased with that for your first kind of proper job. If you went to college, university, and came out with that, you would expect to pay £335 per year in your student loan. Okay, so well done to all those that got those answers and were replying there. That's good. That seems to be working quite well. What you need to do now for the last question in this task is question B here, which is check what the current earnings threshold is for paying back a student loan. Right? We said in that previous question that it was £17,775, but that is for 2017, and it changes every year. Right? So what I'm going to do is write down that the threshold for 2017, and write this down with me. The 2017 threshold was £17,775. What I want you to do now is go to Google, type in student loans earning threshold.
Sure. What would you like?
That's my phone just activating there. Go onto a search engine, type in student loans earning threshold, and you should find a 2020 updated updated amount for the earning threshold. You'll find it's probably higher than this one. So student loans earning threshold. Can you go just now, type that in, write it down when you've got an answer, and in a couple of minutes I'll ask you to post your answers in the chat, but don't do it just now. So go to your search engine, type that in, and get me an answer for your 2020 threshold. Okay, go and do that now. Okay, that shouldn't take you long. I think you just type it in, and when I typed in earlier, it was a UCAS, the UCAS page that came up, and it told you what your earnings threshold is. So, can you write me that down in the comments now? What did you get? What is the value for your 2020 most recent up-to-date earnings threshold? Write it in the comments, please. Okay, anyone got an answer here? Threshold, current UK threshold for your student loan repayments. Now this is a UK threshold, it's not just a Scottish one, it applies anywhere. Okay, a few answers. Anyone else got answers, please? Okay, yeah, some answers coming in just now. So here's the thing. There's actually two. That was a mistake that I said about there being a UK. There is a Scottish specific one. Okay, there's a Scottish specific one, and there's also a UK one. So it's quite an interesting difference. So the UK threshold is the one that the majority of you have written down, and it's the one, if you just type it in, it comes up with the UK one. That's £26,575. The Scottish one, which is SAS, that is the Student Loans Agency, SAS. The Scottish one is actually a lot less than that. The Scottish one is only 19,390. Right, 19,390 per year. So basically, in England, Northern Ireland, Wales, you don't have to start paying back your student loan until you earn over 26,000. In Scotland, though, you have to start paying it back when you earn over 19,390. But interestingly, there's a comment there that says they have committed to raising it to £25,000 by April 2021. So by the time you guys get around to it, basically, if you are going to college or uni or whatever you're going to maybe go on and do, if you get a student loan, the threshold is going to go up a lot by 2021. So that's actually works out much better for you guys. So it's interesting just to see that, you know, over the years how much the payment has changed. Okay, it was 17,795 before, now it's 19,390, and it's gone up, you know, a huge amount in April of this year. That's kind of reflective of the cost of living, basically. The cost of living is going up, so you know, the amount of money that you need to survive, you need to earn more money to survive. So that's why they're raising these thresholds, is so that you don't become, you know, even more in debt. Okay. So that's hopefully going to help you out. It's quite interesting. I think you maybe can't relate to this now, but when you do have a student loan, if that's you, you will definitely be able to relate to this, and hopefully that will help you figure out how much it's going to cost to pay it back. Okay. Are there any questions about anything we've done in that activity?